When seeking help with weight loss, you will likely find yourself repeatedly whacked upside the head with the following advice. Just eat healthier. Get more vegetables. You need to get more exercise. Okay, great. You've told me what to do, but now tell me how. These days, health experts are starting to treat overeating as a serious addiction. So, in the last few years, therapists have focused on changing perception and increasing awareness to help with weight loss. We're all slowly starting to realize that forcing ourselves to do something, like dieting, is less powerful than examining and outsmarting our addicted brains. Several years back, I kicked another nasty addiction simply by adopting a rather unusual mindset. It definitely changed my life for the better, so I'm happy to share it with you today. In 2003, I quit smoking cigarettes, and it was hell, pure hell. My associations with smoking were around every corner. Most of my friends were smokers. I smoked when I drank a cup of coffee in the morning, or a beer at night. I smoked after every meal and just before bed. I smoked at work, while waiting for a bus, while waiting for anything. I smoked when I was nervous, when I was depressed, and when I was blissfully happy. For many years I tried to quit. I hated that I was a cigarette smoker, but I was addicted and felt helpless. I attempted to quit at least 15 times before I finally did it for good. And when I did, it wasn't just luck. It was a significant shift in thinking that made success much, much easier. I realized that I needed to think about the process of changing this habit in terms of 3 separate phases. The phases looked like this. Phase 1. Now. Sick of my habit, sick of my excuses, sick of myself, feeling helpless and ashamed. Phase 2. The transition. No longer engaged with the habit, forming new, healthier habits that I resist. Both physical and mental withdrawal symptoms left, right, and center. Pure hell. Phase 3. The new norm. Habit gone. Withdrawal symptoms gone. Can't comprehend how stupid I was to ever start that habit in the first place. Feeling physically healthier and mentally stronger. Noticing how others around me look unhealthy, tired, and defeated. Don't ever want to go back to that myself. Now, of these 3 phases, which do you think demands the most of your attention? That's right, the transition. So when I set about quitting for good, I thought a lot about this particular phase. And here are some facts that I came up with. Fact 1. The transition will be hell. Fact 2. I can be okay with accepting that the transition will be hell because, fact 3, the transition will not last forever. When I decided that I could be okay with the hellish nature of the transition, I thrust it upon myself. I didn't change a thing about my other habits. I hung around the same smoker friends, and while they smoked, I continued to drink coffee and beer and eat meals. I avoided none of my smoking associations. It was hard. But I told myself each time that this was going to be one of 1,000 little tests that I could pass. Eventually, they wouldn't feel like tests anymore. Eventually, I would reach a new normal. Although it took 7 months in my case, that's exactly what happened. The day came when I did not want a cigarette. And it wasn't just that I didn't want to buy a pack of cigarettes. I didn't even want one if it was offered to me, if it was free, if it was rolled by Philip Morris himself and dipped in Remy Martin Louis XIII cognac, I was finished, and it felt great. So how does this relate to weight loss? Well, if you find that you are constantly planning to lose weight, but very quickly cheating with fattening foods, then you too are an addict. And that's okay, because most of us are addicted to something. But what I want you to do is to try again. And this time, see these three phases clearly. Understand that the transition is hell, but you're okay with that, because the hell is temporary, and there's a paradise at the end. How is this mindset so different than what we usually do with weight loss? Well, what typically happens is that we vow to eat better to lose weight. So we buy a bag of carrot sticks or something and take those to work to snack on instead of a candy bar. But when we're eating them, we're thinking of the candy bar and how much better that would taste. And a subtle depression hits as we imagine the rest of our lives eating something we hate while being deprived of something we love. We see the rest of our lives like a prison sentence and fall back on old habits. What this ignores, however, is that our tastes can change. We can get so accustomed to the healthy food that we eventually can't imagine how we ever ate all that processed junk for so long. But this takes time, and it takes repetition. And it takes knowing that it always feels like hell when changing an old habit. But there's a paradise at the end, so you're okay with that.